And there's the sound of the rooster introducing another episode of Free to Speak.
Yep. Hello, Rob.
And we are at the Imperial. Where are we at? The
Imperial Botanical Beach Hotel.
Imperial Botanical Beach Hotel. Giving them a free commercial, but I don't think we're significant enough that it's gonna send people their way. But yeah,
you never know.
Never know. So how you been, Paul?
Been well. Been a not so eventful week, but kinda. The word is axiomatic. Just when it happened the way it's as usual, past as usual, nothing special. I like speaking. I like learning new words, new dictions. So axiomatic means. So the week was axiomatic, nothing special.
What's that? There's a word that describes people who like to use big words for no other reason but to use big words.
I
can't remember what is that, sesquipedalian or something like that. There's a word that describes people who like to use big words for no other reason but to use big words.
Just for the sake of it.
Yeah, like sesquipedaliist or something. Sesquipedalian or Anybody out there, if you know what word I'm thinking of, please put it in the comments. I can't think of it right now. But.
Okay, anyhow,
but,
so
yes.
Here we are. Thank you for following us for this long. We've been here over a year, right?
Yeah, we've been. When did we start this? I don't even remember. It's been
around March, February
2024.
March 2024.
Yeah.
Around that time. Yeah.
And now here we are, 51 episodes later.
A couple episodes.
Yeah.
And there are some people who we can applaud because they've watched every single one of them.
Yep.
Yeah. If we were bigger than we are, maybe you would actually be receiving hampers.
We'd be receiving what?
Hampers or something like that. People are watching Oprah Winfrey. They would dedicate the guys. They can get a TV, a car.
Oh yeah, we can give away cars. Yeah, we're gonna start giving away cars to our one lucky subscriber next week. Yeah, no, we're not gonna.
Maybe a toy car.
Yeah, toy car. That's about what we can afford is a toy car. Yeah.
Okay. Anyhow, so it's been a
Besides, if I was going to buy a car, I wouldn't buy it for them. I'd buy it for me. So me and my wife. But.
So anyway, we've had a few comments, and from especially our regular subscribers. And there's one particular subscriber who is always talking about the alphabet community. The LGBT.
Always, kind of the same thing over. And we addressed it once. We actually responded to his comments and did an episode around it once.
Yeah, I don't know. He must have a point that he's trying to drive home, but he's not getting it right. Maybe he can be more clear. But the idea is that we hear you. You have your points. And when it comes to these LGBTQ things, when it comes to things that are a bit controversial. I wouldn't call them controversial because to me they're kind of blatant. That is, some of the things are not right, but they're controversial in the sense that some people think they are right. So I didn't want us to talk about them. Mm-hmm. But so in such sensitive topics or delicate sensitive topics, you want to respect everyone's opinion. If I have an opinion, that's my opinion. If your opinion is different from mine, that is your opinion, and I respect that. Yeah. That's the whole point of Free to Speak anyway. Speak, give us your opinion, but you can try to convince me to take your opinion, but you don't have to, to try to you don't have to get offended when I don't take your perspective of things. So it loses the whole point of being freedom to speak, or the whole point of opinion. It's not an opinion if I have to take yours. So let's respect one another's opinion. Yeah, something like that. Well,
this particular subscriber has been getting very, what's the word I want? Hostile?
Belligerent.
What's the word?
Belligerent.
Yeah, he's been borderline insulting, maybe just actual insulting. I don't know if you want to say borderline insulting. But it's kind of this combination where he kind of gets insulting and then he gets friendly and it kind of goes back and forth. And
I would say it gets agitated.
He gets agitated because I think we're not talking about things in the way that he wants us to talk about things. But I think what the subscriber needs to remember is you're talking about things from your perspective. I'm talking about things from my perspective. You, subscriber, have the opportunity to express your perspective in the comments. But remember, it's our show, and so we're going to talk about things from our perspective. We're not necessarily going to talk about things from your perspective, or we're not necessarily going to talk about everything in the way that you want it to be talked about, because then we wouldn't be us, we would be you.
Yeah.
You know, so we're just being honest about who we are and what our perspectives are. And I think also there's been some misconceptions that he's had about some of the things. Like, he's particularly come after me. And what he does is every week he overwhelms us with, I don't want to say is overwhelming the right word. He writes very, very long comments. And then he'll come back with a second one. And then he'll come back with a third one. And a lot of times he'll repeat himself in all the comments. And then he'll repeat himself from week to week to week. And I think sometimes that can be a little bit overwhelming. You're kind of maybe overwhelming us a little bit by going on and on and on, and maybe find more concise ways to say what you want to say.
The point is, I like the word of try to be concise, because like Bobby was saying, we have our own perspectives. At some point in the show where I had a different opinion from Robert, and it was back and forth, because we're trying to have an individuated conversation where I have my perspective, he has his perspective. If we align, that's okay, but if we don't align, that's okay. So where you're trying to communicate, be concise. Make sure we actually understand what you're trying to say. Because if you repeat the same message every single time, you'll find that naturally people get drawn away from your comments, because they get it's the same comment every time. So maybe try to actually communicate. Good communication is when the people you're communicating to actually understand what you're trying to say. So please help us understand what you'll be trying to say, and I would hope that you take this in a kind way, that we're just trying to harmonize our conversation, our discussion between us, and especially one of our most dedicated subscribers.
I'm not trying to criticize this subscriber, because I mean he's watching us
every day.
Every week he's watching our videos, he's commenting on them, he's engaging with us, he's interacting with us, and we want that. So we encourage him to continue to do so. But to kind of repeat the same things over and over again from week to week, because maybe you're feeling frustrated because we're not talking about things in the way that you want us to talk about them. We're not going to talk about things in the way that you want us to talk about them, because we're not you. We're going to talk about things from our perspective. Paul's going to talk about things from his perspective. I'm going to talk about things from my perspective. You may not agree. You have the opportunity in the comments to tell us where you disagree, and that's fine.
And we acknowledge wherever it's coming from. And if fate wills, then maybe at some point we can host some of these people on our show. Maybe
we can bring him on and let him
and let them speak their mind out.
And even if we don't agree, I mean, we're not going to entirely agree with this individual, but
I mean, between me and you, sometimes we do not agree.
We do not
agree.
That's okay. Right.
That's okay.
Although I think sometimes to me it's amazing how much we do agree on, because we agree, I think, on most things, but every once in a while we diverge and we just go in different directions, and that's fine. But sometimes you change your mind on things, or I change my mind on things. Because I know we've had conversations before where you took a particular position, and then several months later, you came back and said you no longer agree with that. And we had that conversation.
Yeah, and that's the whole point about communication, is that you want to be a bit open-minded. You don't want to, close your mind to one box. Sometimes being open-minded means that you're able to accommodate new information, and if it actually tallies in your reasoning, then you can actually change your viewpoint, and it's okay. So it's not that the way it has always been, it will always be. So that's what learning is really. Anyway, learning is when you can drop a particular mindset and pick up a new one if you're convinced by it.
Can anybody tell me what's going on? Tell me what's going on. If you open your eyes, you'll see that